So it's an almost forgotten art. Uh, this is a brief history about in first person who appreciate the pathological significance and therapeutic effect of closing retinal break is Jules Konin, and then it start the saga of developing scroll buckle. In 1930, Rosengren first tried the intravitreal ear injection, and then 1933, Dutzman who tried the cryopexy for retinal detachment surgery. Then 1949, it's Custodes who gave the concept of scroll buckling and which was redefined by Skippens in 1957. And 1950, Skippens also introduced the indirect ophthalmoscopy, which has changed everything about the retinal detachment surgery. And 1964, Linkoff bring his rule, Linkoff rule, which is famous about Linkoff rule. And 1985, Gilbert and McLeod successfully done the surgery with vitrectomy with a fluid air exchange. So this is in nutshell brief history about the retinal detachment surgery. So before undertaking a retinal detachment case, we have to see few things carefully, like the type of retinal detachment, whether it is actually digmatogenous or not, the extent of detachment, whether macula is attached or detached, the previous status, anatomical and visual outcome, and the prognosis, like retinal recurrent detachment, and the status of the fellow eye. These are important points before taking up the case for the surgery. Let us see a case scenario. This is about a 45-year-old male with the vision in the right eye was counting finger 3 meter. This case was operated by my senior in Shankar Netralaya. This is left eye vision was 6 by 6 and 6. Anterior segment was patient having phakic eye in both eyes, with people showing a little bit of RAPD in the right eye. Applanation tonometry was 10-meter marker in both eyes. And this is the retinal picture, which showing there is a macula of retinal detachment with large multiple breaks in the infratemporal quadrant. And if you can see, there is a subretinal gliosis at the supratemporal region, and there is a large break at the infratemporal quadrant, and there is a macula is detached. Left eye is taken care of by laser photocoagulation at the infratemporal and inferior quadrant. So this is the large diagram which shows the extent of retinal detachment, and there is a multiple lattices at the supratemporal and superior region, and the large break at the equatorial region. There is a subretinal gliosis, and there is a large cystic changes in the retina inferior quadrant. So this diagram actually important to localize the break in order to prevent jaggeries or difficulties during the intraoperative procedures. So this patient, we have planned buckle, and we have done the buckle with a 280 scroll buckle, and this is the drainage site, the P1, and 240 instaclage also placed. So the treatment option of any detachment surgery is a buckle, scroll buckle, either with drainage or without drainage, along with the instaclage, or it's a choice of the surgeon, and can be treated with the pneumatic retinopexy or primary vitrectomy or combination of all above. So main purpose of the buccal is to close the retinal hole, to relieve any vitreoretinal traction, to bring the retina close to the RP, displaces the fluid into the vitreous cavity from the subretinal space, and retinopexy to close the primary break. So before there used to be two type of buccal, either explant or implant. Implant we usually practice today. We usually practice the explant. Explant can be radial, can be segmental, can be instaclage. Explant is little advantageous because it is shallower. There is a less chance of intrusion. It is technically easier, and careful placement of suture is important in case of explant. And preoperative assessment is definitely important before taking up any scroll buckle case. Detailed history to be taken, and we have to find out the causative break and any other lesions is there or not, and we have to check the other eye in order to find any breaks or lesion in the other eye. fundus diagram is most important, and the preoperative plan. Linkoff give us little bit of idea where could be the causative break in case of any kind of retinal rigidogenosus retinal detachment, but it holds good only if there is a single break. This is an example of color diagram where it shows there is a break at the superior 12 o'clock position with a localized RD, superior and supranasal area, and there is an area of lattice degeneration with a hole with a thin retina, infratemporal, and the retinal schisis in the infranasal region. Now, whether to do buckle or not to do buckle. Mostly the indication of scleral buckle is a peripheral depressible break with rigmadogenous retinal detachment, small breaks, single or few breaks, absence of extensive proliferative vitreoretinal changes. We can opt up to A and B type of PVR changes, and cleared media. In presence of vitreous hemorrhage or any inflammatory changes, we cannot go ahead with the buckle. Other cases, we can opt for vitrectomy. Now, we often choose the non-absorbable buckle like silicone or hydrogel or sponge, and it is the surgeon choice which he wants to do with the buckle, either silicones or sponge. There are different types of buckle material available. You can go through this diagram. There is a different type of buckle and intraclutch which is available in the market. And size of the buckle is very important in order to give success or vision to the patient in order to settle the retina. And that can be dealt later on by the consecutive speakers. Thank you. Thank you for your patience hearing.